Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to comment. Yeah. Say heck. Heck yeah. Say heck, heck, woo. Heck yeah. Say heck, woo. Say heck yeah. Say heck. Motherfucking jackpot. We still jackpot, bitch.
And to time the market when is with now in the honeymoon phase of Hex, it's better just to stake, buy, stake for the long term, get those shares and collect the 40% APY on average. Why are you going to try to out trade that 40% APY?
How you can say that with a straight face or not like laughing, giggling, and excited is like, it blows my mind, because you just said 40% APY. There is nowhere on the face of the planet where you're going to get 40% APY. It just doesn't exist anywhere, and to be pulling that off of a crypto that is solid and has been solidly doing these types of numbers is I mean, it's amazing to me that that's what we actually have in a cryptocurrency, is that type of APY, and that type of APY guaranteed by an immutable code. And I did say that. I said guaranteed. That's what we're getting right now. There's no way anybody can take your interest away from you that you've made. The price is going to dip and turn and jump and all that kind of stuff, but it's not going to take away your return on your Hex by staking it. So it's something very unique in the space in crypto. I mean, in investing period, you're just not going to get those type of gains anywhere.
Imagine what you might come back to when you run a 10 to 15 year stake. It's, when you put the numbers in the spreadsheet that I put together, it can be pretty impressive and almost seem unrealistic without even manipulating the numbers that much. You don't need a $10 Hex to see a 7-figure profit when you have that long time horizon. And that was, by the way, I adjusted down to just 5 Hex per trillion shares for 15 years. And I understand it's going to be times it's greater than that, especially with emergency end stakes and your share percentage. So I think that's even very conservative there. I think when I did my video, I bumped it to say 35 cents at 15 years. This was with like 100 trillion shares staked. It wasn't anything huge, but you held that 15-year timeline, and then if you had your principal and big payday factored in at that price point, I think we're just like 1.4 million, maybe 1.2. So there's a lot of potential there. Of course, 15 years is a long time. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, that's a long time. But it's gonna come and go whether you do anything with it or not. So Andrew says, I remember a story of camping when I was a kid in Washington, and we met a guy camping next to us. He told my dad about a coffee company called Starbucks and told my dad to invest in it. My dad didn't listen. Well, there's always those stories out there, right? I mean, my mom, didn't get into eBay. We talked about it at the time. There's a story too of a guy, I think it's in Detroit. He's working at a factory, and this is where you can kind of go to this rags to riches story too. He bought into a company called, I think it was Tampax, right? And nobody had heard of it at that time. And then all of a sudden, boom! Now it's this market brand. Every woman uses it. So he made tons of money on that too. So there's always these new startups, new things. Look, McDonald's was that. Apple was that at one point in time.
And then usually if you hold long enough, you're gonna realize some gains, or you're gonna see some of these gains. And Hex, it's only been the bear markets have been very quick.
Yes.
And sometimes they've been prolonged, but they seem to be, dependent on what's going on at the time, but they seem to be kind of bought up pretty quick, and then, chop, and then we take the next leg up. But another analogy I wanted to bring back to Hex was, I know you're not a boomer, but you're like the tier below, but I'm sure you were around in the 80s when interest rates were in the teens, right? They were 10 for a little bit. 15,
well, that's when they were teaching us how to save in savings accounts, and we did, and you put in there, and that was a decent return. I don't think it was quite that high, but it might have been. I don't know, but
it got there. Yeah, at one year, I think it was like 18.
Yeah, and I mean, and that was good, and saving made sense back then, and CDs and savings bonds and muni bonds and all those things made sense back then. Now, not so much.
Hexican, but it's supporting the community, and by them supporting the community and you speaking on their coin and promoting, hey, look, this is something fucking good. Well, that in the long run is going to be good for the person promoting you anyway. Who gives a shit if they're tabbing you on their computer and they walk and go do some grocery shopping or something?
Right.
But that's the mentality that I believe all Hexicans should have. On every single channel that promotes their product of Hex, our coin, we should be highly supportive, because in the long run, it's going to enable us to do what we need to do. We'll be able to go out there as billionaires and fucking make the world a better place, because that's what we want to do. It's been obvious. It's been defined.
Who's amazing with that is BallietBran. BallietBran sets the example to me in my mind of exactly what you're saying, what a real selfless Hexican is. It doesn't matter how many times a week I stream. It doesn't matter what's going on in the community. If somebody new, somebody's on again, BallietBran is supportive. He's not only retweeting it, he's in there, he's in that chat that day. He might just stop by for a minute, but you can guarantee he's stopping in the chat and saying, throw a like on this YouTube video, or leaving a comment there. He's so consistent and such a great inspiration to me. I love that he's my friend now. It's amazing. And like you said, I don't do it enough. I try to, but I'm not making it my duty to do it. And it's really just simple to show up, log, hit that like button, hit that follow button for everybody. If you saw a new streamer today, Michael, I forget his full name right now. I apologize, Michael, but it's first time streaming today. We could have made a big deal out of that as a community. I failed there. I didn't jump on and retweet his stream and, throw him a comment in it. And, how much did I appreciate that when I first started, that BallietBran was there for me, that there was another handful of Hexicans that showed up that first day and rode with me till today, and give me the confidence to keep going.
What's interesting? I'm the same way. And I think that mentality that you just presented is absolutely warranted. BallietBran, by the way, an amazing Hexican. He was definitely, on my streams, dropping donos and promoting me, retweeting. Like he's that guy, and there needs to be more BallietBrans, just to continue, putting forward the content, and really taking appreciation to the people who push our content creators like you. Again, I love what you're doing. You need to go up in the ranks, because this here is so unique, but so needed, especially now with the whole pandemic. You are doing God's work, man. You're not doing work for yourself. This is something different. Okay?
Thank you, Joker.
Absolutely.
Brand just asked too, not even why I'm saying all this. Bran asked for, I said to DM you, but now that we're talking about Bran asked Joe, what is Joker's ETH address to donate to? Right. So that's tonight. That's right now, a few minutes ago. I mean, that's who Bran is, just so, I mean, DM him, please. Bran's an inspiration to us all. And for you to go ahead.
I love Bran. Man, he's so He's such a giving soul, man.
Absolutely.
We need, again, we that type of love is like, it's unmatched. And that's all in the Hexican community, guys. Like it's so fucking unique. I've never seen a community like this in my entire life. Like look at what what's his name was doing. Ski Cat. He gave away $50,000, bro. Where do you see that?
Ski Cat gave me 500,000 hex on the 24-hour stream when I first came out and told my story. That was the first time, you know, for a large audience. There was 1,700 people watching. Maddie and I had been on for Hex Therapy Live, which we do Thursday nights after Hexologist. That was, you know, we're just learning. We're just figuring out the ropes. I went on that show. I provided my testimony. I didn't even know if I was going to talk because there was 10 people on screen at once. And for the first half hour, like my audio wasn't working right because my first time using StreamYard with a big group, I didn't have the settings right. And finally, like, it just came to an opportunity where, like I said, I didn't even think I was going to talk. And Hexologist looked over and said, "Hey, Joe, you know, what's your story with Hex?" And, you know, I said my story, and Maddie's made a video of this so I could see the comments as you know, I was providing my testimony, and nothing but love, just hundreds of comments of support. And then because of that support, you know, organically what happened was Ski Cat realized, you know, here's an individual that's been through the ringer, myself, and now he's here. And what did he do to help me? He donated 500,000 Hex, which at that time, Hex was at a penny. Just like it is today, it's a little bit over that. That was $5,000, you know, to somebody that I've never met. I don't know him. I don't know who he is. And like you just said, he's donated over 10 million Hex to people in the Hex community.
That's so amazing, man. That is so amazing. You know, again, it's a blessing. It's really a blessing. And we have the power to do it. Like, it's so unique, you know, and we have such outreach, and we know what we're about, and the coin's going to explode, and we are the pioneering fucking content creators.
Right.
Hex art, surely we've got a Hexican who's a tattoo artist, right? Surely. I think there's going to be a lot of people.
I don't think we do, because there was a bounty for like tens of thousands of dollars the other night, and nobody took it. So I don't think so.
Is it bad of me that I want it to be BallietBran? BallietBran, I want you to learn. I want you to become an expert in tattooing.
All right.
Become the world's best tattoo artist, right?
I have to change my username and don't ever send me money. Imposters everywhere. Richard Hart, bracket. Don't ever send me money. Imposters everywhere, bracket. That's fucked up, right? Well, I'm out there actually making an effort trying to stop the fucking scam. Everyone else is like, fucking that Richard, yeah, he's a scammer.
Call it a scam. Nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans. ICOs, pump and dumps, they always try to take you. Buy low, sell high, I'm tired of your fake news. You need a token, you broken, you wanna see some massive gains? Lambo, new crib, model, wife, cash and chains. Look no further at your final destination. Don't be complacent every day when you paper chasing. Choose the best, leave the rest. Stop investing like you press. The only crypto that you'll ever need is Hex. Call it a scam. Nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans. Your investments are safe, it's got defenses. A mutable contract that pays trustless interest. I don't understand why everybody is hating. Hex is capped at 3.69 inflation. Shares are like hash rate. The higher you take her, the more daily interest that gets paid to the stakers. Always do your own research, don't listen to me though. It's complete, it can't be changed. Hex is finito. Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans. The game has changed, ain't no going back now. Dummies that called Hex a scam can back down. I hope you understand, I pray that you follow me. You owe the entire Hex family an apology. And stay sober, cash out, the game's over. Hex is here for the market cap takeover. Buckle up, we about to be full throttle. With multiple audits is where we get paid to hodl. We got the game smothered, sisters and brothers, with no expectation of the work from others. It's complicated, I know that there's a lot to this. For your daily Hex updates, tuned to Hexologists. What's up, guys? Hex is like nothing that you ever been through. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the pumpamentals. If you like what you hear, by now, think twice. Just remember, yo, this ain't financial advice. Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans.
Thank you, Richard, for creating and founding the most amazing and disruptive financial technology cryptocurrency ever. Thank you, sir. And nice streams, Mr. BallietBran.
All righty. What is up, everybody? It's BallietBran. Today we got a special guest coming on, and we actually got him in the green room right now. But for everyone that's just tuning in, welcome. Hope everyone's doing well. And today we're going to have Nardo on the live stream again. So just want to see what's up real quick in the chat. Let's see. Okay, no worries. David, good to see you. Thank you for the support. Well, without further ado, guys, we're just going to bring Nardo on. Let me add him to the stream right now. Hey, Nardo, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. How about you?
Cool, man. Yeah, I can hear you great. Good to see you, man. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no worries.
Heck yeah, man. Well, yeah, I guess we can kind of just, get started. There's nothing necessarily planned, but, we just got you on. And I guess before we get into it, did you see the tattoo that David just got, David Feeder?
Yeah, I did, man. I watched it. A couple of guys have been retweeting it, and I was just home, and it was great. It was.
No, seriously, it's awesome, man. Yeah, I did get a retweet of David doing that, so maybe we can take a look at that a little bit later. Actually, one second, I have it right here. Let me share the screen real quick here. Let's do share screen. Okay, so for everyone that's exactly for everyone that's watching, we're just going to show David's tattoo real quick first, and David did actually have it right here on his Twitch. So this is his Twitch, and you can actually see. We can actually see it right here of him getting it, and if we keep fast forwarding just a little bit, you can see, David spent about, let's see, 30 or so minutes getting the tattoo. So definitely shout out to David, and good job. That's really cool to see another Hexican in the community with the tattoo. I think it looks great.
Yeah, I know some of the tattoos I've had, and I was sitting there watching, and as soon as that little flesh rate came out and the humming started, I saw David's chest take a deep breath, and I was like, I've been there. I was like, you're in it, man.
Exactly, man. Well, yeah, let me just refresh this comment real quick and see if we get any new comments. We'll kind of interact with the chat and yourself as.
Yeah, right on.
Okay, sorry about that. Had to refresh just so I could see all the new comments. So yeah, man, how you doing, Nardo?
Good. Enjoying a snowy Sunday for myself, so it's been nice.
That's awesome, man. How much snow do you have?
Really, it's not sticking to the ground, but it's just been nice looking out the windows occasionally. I got a nice view out the back of my house, and it's, the snow globe is right outside.
That's cool, man. That's super cool. Yeah, no, I have completely different weather over here in the Seattle area today. It's just fortunately it's not raining right now, but it's kind of just medium to overcast, but that's cool to see on the different side of the country. There's always different types of weather and whatnot. So I like the snowy seasons.
Yeah, that was kind of a big deal for one of the reasons why I moved back from Florida was to get more familiar with seasons because the years go by so fast in Florida because everything stays green all the time. You never really know besides when the snowbirds come down.
That definitely makes sense, man. I've definitely never been to Florida, but what I hear from even like Big Pep who lives in Florida and from yourself just now that yeah, it doesn't the seasons are definitely different. So that's definitely cool.
With Florida, it's kind of weird. You got to be below like Fort Myers, and then you're in the subtropical zone. So, I mean, you're just like any other country on the equator. I never even saw snow once where I was at in Naples. So it was really cool.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And it's, to your point, I've heard specifically, about Florida that whether you're in one part of the state or another, it can, vary drastically on the environment or the weather and things like that. So cool, man. Anything new with you in the Hex community, or how are you doing? You still staking, or you still what are your thoughts on anything Hex related? That's going on?
I've just been focusing on trying to catch the dips when I can. I'm no whale or anything, but 60 or $100, whatever I can do to capture one whole T share. That's kind of just been my plan. And I've had some stakes come out, took the interest off, and paid myself for this whole year I've been holding, which was nice. And then just instead of restaking the whole amount of the principal in one stake, I kind of diversified it and chopped it up and extended my time out a little further. At the moment, I have nothing but opportunities in front of me with all different kinds of jobs. So really, I don't need it right now.
That's super cool, man. Yeah, that's one of the things that I love about Hex is, especially if you have income that's coming in, whether you're buying on like some sort of dollar cost average type of basis or when you can afford it and whatnot. The cool thing about Hex is you can have varying lengths of staking, or if you're like averaging in, you can maybe wait until you have like a couple $100 worth, or vary your stakes out in whatever manner you want to.
Yeah, I like options. I think that's probably been the biggest mental health thing out of all this is just to have options. In the real world, before I got into investing or anything like that, I really didn't have options. I would project out into the future. Some of those first jobs I was just being paid hourly, and nothing really added up. I didn't feel like I had an option.
That's cool. So how did you get back on your feed, or to get those options in front of you?
Really, it was kind of, I guess, just luck. Ending out of a 5-year relationship, and then seeing some of those self-help videos when I needed it most from Richard Hart, and then putting them into action. When all that was going down, I was like 1,000 miles from anybody, my friends and family. So this was put up or shut up time, and I just started doing all this stuff I wouldn't do. Had the body shop job, and I was putting in overtime, and then I was like, well, maybe I should start valeting, because in Naples, Florida, I could make almost a whole paycheck, parking these real fancy cars. And I was the old man, so from 6 to 9 o'clock, I'd make my money and let the young kids stay till 2, 3 in the morning.
That's cool, man. Yeah, that's definitely awesome, man. That from even the last time we talked, you have lots of different like work experience with what you've done, whether it be valeting or fixing up stuff, kind of like a general contractor would do, or or painting and stuff like that. So it definitely helps to especially as far as like skill sets go. Pays to have a wide variety. If you can do a lot of many things, and you can make money in those areas as well.
Yeah, I believe that's probably been a big key to my value is I don't want to say jack of all, master of none, but it's kind of similar. If somebody just says a sentence, hey man, I need help doing a specific thing, I bet you I can research it and within about 2 hours and have the confidence to going about that repair. It's really just, do you want to do it in the time you have in front of you? And a lot of times I'll get 3 or 4 jobs just because of how I went about that first one.
Right.
Just do it right there in front of them. Boop, 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 boop.
No, that's cool, man. I know specifically from whether it's like my experience that I've done in those kind of industries, or heard of other people that had their own companies or their own kind of little gigs, and that's definitely one of the things when you mentioned kind of like a word of mouth or referral that it can give you many jobs just on that alone. Like one thing that Kareem mentioned that even is, and I think it's kind of just like Hex related, but also just in general and personal. Like, yeah, if you have a consistent reputation that you have with someone, or the quality of work that you have is consistent, then when someone gives out your recommendation to another person, you generally have another client there, or another person you can do business with.
Yeah, 100%. I've never advertised once. I've never put my name out there that I do any type of work. All the work that I get is literally because of all the actions I've done. And then on top of it, I think my latest one was just the body shop again. I had left it for a while, put my tools in my buddy's shop. Well, it turns out that my buddy had actually been looking to try to find a way to get me. There's not too many people in my trade that can do Bondo work or mud work as consistent as I do, or repairs where everything lines up, because we all know, we see cars out there that get painted and they're still looked wrecked. And yeah, that was pretty neat hearing that this week from my new employer. So
that's so cool, man. It especially something like that with a trade. It's really cool that you can be counted on as someone that can do consistent work. I was actually looking through your Twitter real quick. Maybe you want to respond to that as I maybe find one of the links that you're talking about on the body shop.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. So I guess for anyone that doesn't know, can you maybe explain, like, obviously you're in the Hex community as well, and you've been in for such a long time, but you said you don't do advertising per se, but can you tell anyone in the community that's not familiar with yourself, like what skill sets you have? You mentioned the Bondo and the body work, maybe anything else?
Yeah, I'm a certified crane operator. So, anything over 30 tons, I can move it. Bobcat, millwright. I know RG3 said something about millwright, and I destroyed that in 2 weeks. I did every pump that they had, and I was like, what's the next job, boys? And
wow.
I guess with being commissioned in body work, I just go everything like a machine. I don't sit down and do the breaks like everybody else does. That was another reason I guess I'm so good in body work. I don't waste time at all. Anything I can do to not pick up that air hose, if I can buy a battery powered tool or something like that, that just, I make up so much time,
right.
Efficient. But painting, I mean, really anything. Carpentry work. I was doing roofing, a couple weeks ago. And really, I just need to know how to roof, because I need a roof myself. And I thought I could do it, but I need to see the techniques on how these guys use the tool. And that's been similar to almost every trade I've been in. I can do the work. I just need to see how you use that tool, go about your measurements. Let me get out here on a job by myself. I'll knock it out.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I'm definitely sure you're aware of, obviously, Gary with funding Jim and gifting you Hex, but that, what you're describing and what I notice in a lot of like entrepreneurs specifically is kind of like that ambition to constantly be learning, whether it's a new skill set or something that you haven't done before.
Yeah.
Even take Richard Hart when he was, he's obviously the founder of Hex, the crypto that we're all a community of, but he was learning new things constantly, whether it be like the actual Solidity programming language, or whether it be like he found a couple of bugs in the actual, or not a couple, but he said he found at least one bug when they were initially reviewing the Hex contract before it got audited and everything else. But that's cool that, like you say, a jack of all, master of none type deal. I think stuff like that can definitely benefit anyone. I mean, let's not be naive to what's going around, whether it be globally or like whether it be in the United States or around the rest of the world, that a lot of people sometimes they might, not be having work, or like struggling for work and stuff like that. But one thing that my grandpa always said was, whether the job that I was doing didn't relate to it, if you at least have like a trade that you can, and this is just specifically with the trade, but it applies to anything else as well. But just if you have like a backup option that you have done before and that you've kind of honed in, you would have some sort of economic income coming in if you ever got like fired or let go of another gig.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's probably the biggest reason why I've never filed for unemployment. I've had that offer twice in my lifetime, and just going through the computer work alone, it wasn't worth it. I just made a couple phone calls, lowballed myself, and yeah, I had a job. Now it's just time. I got money coming in. I'll find something else better. I just need this little time to get through it. So even during this last year, I was deemed an essential worker everywhere I went.
Right. No, that's cool, man. Yeah, the company that I work for, let's see here. This company here, it's like a masonry and landscaping company. They were deemed essential and whatnot too. So it's cool, at least for a decent portion of that industry, is staying alive. But it's definitely we're definitely going into more of like a digital and virtual world and whatnot with the internet. So it's also nice to when we talk about like things that you're skillful in, and whether it be blue collar labor or the internet, I think it's nice to have a broad range of all of those things, because I know some people that might have a whole bunch of like personal skills or good at some things, but then when it comes to maybe like the phone or the internet and whatnot, they're less adept at keeping up with the trends and whatnot. So that can sometimes lead people to fall behind, and then maybe you're not able to stay in touch with the friends that you used to.
I agree. Yeah. I think probably one of my lesser known trades I really never talk about is gardening. When I was in Florida there for a while, I had a vision of just walking in my backyard and making a salad. So, I had luck with one of the employees I was working with that, he had a Ehlers-Danlos disease, and he was telling me all these things that he had in his garden. And still to the day, I keep a plant of K-Tuck in the house, just to get those extra little benefits from that.
Can you tell me what that is? Because I'm honestly not familiar. And then same thing for the people watching.
K-Tuck is just a normal run-of-the-mill plant, but it's got like a little bit of a peanut flour taste, but it's just a high source of protein. I believe that K-Tuck has a higher protein than most meats that you're able to eat. So my buddy that had the Ehlers-Danlos, he struggled sometimes if he had a super carnivore diet. So, he was kind of edging more towards being a vegan. I'd probably have to get him on here to really explain what that plan is. I just know I trust that guy, and man, that's good stuff.
That's cool. So you said you always try to keep some of that on hand, or at least in the garden. Is that something you still have going on?
Not at the moment. I got a couple of seeds. It's winter up here, But then,
Right. Oh, okay, good point. Yeah.
here lately, that gardening came in time for my food plots. I was making for a guy's farm because they do a lot of deer hunting and turkey hunting.
Nice.
And then next thing I know, I got a green thumb. Everybody else's food plots don't look like mine.
That's cool, man. It's definitely a green thumb. It's definitely a skill that takes a little bit of time to learn. I've had some kind of like gardening experience as well, and growing many different plants and whatnot. And it's cool, man. It's cool that Hex, like if you're in Hex and you're staked out and you're kind of just waiting for those stakes to mature before you ladder them up again. It's cool that we have so much time so much spare time that we can, learn other things or, do healthier things and stuff like that. So it's cool that, you can do the gardening and be earning interest trustlessly that day too.
Yeah, it's even freed up or Hex has freed up my mind. I haven't had, all these different things in front of me wanting to tackle work-wise, and I'm making time for myself. Today, I usually, like on Sundays, I'll go out to eat something super fatty, pass out, take a nap. But today I had a chicken Caesar salad.
Nice,
so I was like, I want to see this 12, 13, 15-year steaks I got.
Right. No, that's the cool thing, man. For anyone that doesn't know, I'll be having another person on sometime in the future. He actually reached out to me and on Twitter he goes by Mr. Locomoto. But anyways, he was kind of reaching out to me, and we'll be having another Hexican on the stream, and but it's cool. Yeah, Hex allows us that opportunity. Like, the minimum you can do is a 1-day stake for anyone that's not familiar. And then the maximum you can do is 5,555 days, which is 15.2 something years. So it's really cool. But I say that to say that him and I were talking, and we've never really seen such a financial product to exist where you can lock, and it's a hard lock or stake, a product for that long of a time. So it's really cool because this is the first time we're ever seeing such a technology to exist.
Yeah, it's epic. I believe once people get in it, get comfortable however you need to be, and then start planning stuff out. It's done a world of difference for myself.
That's awesome, man. Well,
I was going to say, I think I made a video last week when our air compressor died. That was kind of an eye opener for myself, and I had the confidence, I guess, just to go ahead and record that taboo moment. But any other time, air compressor blows up or anything like that, as a body man, I just would have rolled out. All right, I'll be back whatever day. Let me know when you fix it.
Right.
That never even came in. My buddy ran down to the street, got a new motor. The motor mounts didn't fit. All right, next challenge.
I've got the video. Do you want me to pull it up or
if you want?
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Just for a little bit of context. We'll get everyone, so we all got the context. Let me share the screen. We're going to share what Nardo's talking about, just so everyone's on the same page, because we've got a lot to learn here, and it's not everything's just about Hex. A lot of life is about principles too, and kind of lessons you learn and whatnot. So without further ado, we're just going to play this, and then we'll let me just make sure on StreamYard we're looking good. We'll full screen the video just for now. Let me play the video. Wait, I'm sorry. Actually, I don't think I hit the audio. Let me stop the screen real quick for just one more second. Bear with me for everyone. At least I caught it before I started playing the video. So share audio. One more second. We're gonna go full screen. Okay, perfect. All right, thanks everyone.
Probably one of your best friends. And having this monster pry bar just for support, other pry bars, spoons, for proper leverage. I about got this muff whipped. So got that whole hole out. I'm pretty gnarly. little thing right here, but I think we're gonna be all right. So test fit time, then get ready for mud and lunch. Enjoy your day, y'all. All right, so here we go. This is
Okay.
like pulling.
Yeah, I think it'd be one right where you got my body. And I think I got like a Dremel tool right in my hand.
Oh, okay. I wasn't on the
I
right.
did. I posted a bunch of stuff last week. You
Well,
know,
cool. That one's still a good representation, but
Yeah.
so I guess I kind of messed up on that. But can you kind of elaborate what the moral of the story and kind of as you were saying?
Well, I guess you know, with that new motor having different holes, that was another reason. Or old Nardo would have just, you know, all right, call somebody else. But I just kept stepping up, and nothing, even that old thought, didn't come into my head at all. It was just whatever I'm doing today. My main focus in life at the moment is just wait for my day for my stakes to come up. That's where my heart and everything is invested. You know, this is just something I'm doing during the day, and I don't think I've ever had that mindset before.
That's cool. Can you tell us if you feel comfortable, like what kind of, obviously not amounts or anything, but like what kind of staking you do? Like, do you do like a 15-year ladder, or kind of just how do you go about the staking? Because everyone's different, and I've got a lot of separate stakes as well. But
I guess my experience from being in crypto early or middle-ish of 16 and 17, I failed fast at the beginning. I was only taking profit at 2 and 3 times, you know, and as a normal worker, yeah, you made great money and all that good stuff. But that really wasn't the money to be made. You know, so for me with staking, instead of having big millions, you know, staked out, you know, I just preferred like 100,000, and I would prefer to do that over the entire existence of the project, because I know the mistakes I made in 16 and 17. You know, that's the difference between making $100,000 and 3 million, because that was my choice. I missed out on all that money, even though I played a safe bet, and you know, I did make some.
Right.
But I lost out so much. So yeah, when my stakes end, I try to break them up in 100,000 intercools, and you know, push them out as far as I can, depending on what opportunities are in front of me.
Right.
As far as real work.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, man. Yeah, I know with things like the gas fees and whatnot, and things like that, maybe going up a little bit higher than when we started with Hex. It's definitely something that you know, obviously not everyone's stake is going to be like the same amount or same length of time, but one thing I've heard some of the Hexicans talking is increasing the actual quantity of the stake if it was too low, because you know, I've heard some people even on Richard's streams kind of complaining, and in reality their stakes were just a little bit too small. So the gas fee that it came down to computate all of their stake length ended up, you know, maybe yielding a smaller profit, or you know, smaller yield, or even for some people, one thing Richard's mentioned, a hidden pumpamental in Hex for some of those stakes that are maybe a little bit too small or a little bit too short of a length of time. You might have to let them burn a little bit until you can either unstake it or let it burn all the way because you didn't stake a decent principal enough.
I say I go about it different. I do
Yeah.
not care one bit what the gas fees are.
Right, exactly.
Not one. It doesn't even penetrate my brain. I'll get a side job once a month. You know, just like that last pool business I painted. Yeah, I just made $800 there. I got my groceries and I got gas fees for months. You know, you just got to step up more.
Right.
That's it.
No, yeah, that's the only thing I guess yeah, you know, could have also added on to the end is yeah, for the point that I was also should have said is, yeah, maybe for people that are doing ladders, try not to spread yourself so thin, because I think the people that are spreading themselves too thin, or you know, you hear some people doing like weekly stakes or things like this. Like in my opinion, I think monthly might be the absolute earliest thing I would do. And that's like, I don't know, if I was doing any stake right now, the shortest one I would be doing would be like at least from a year away from now. Like it wouldn't be like the monthly stuff works good for maybe like 10 or 15 years out in the future. But you know, if you're trying to like get away with monthly stakes right now, then in my opinion, I don't think that would be the wisest thing to do. That's at least not what I'm doing. So I guess that's the only thing I wanted to add is yeah, one thing that yourself just mentioned was the same amount that Dollar Cost mentioned, where, you know, maybe you had a stake that was a little bit too big at the beginning, and now you can chunk it down to, you know, 100,000, 50,000, 25,000, whatever amount it is, but at least not such a small amount where people are having such petty complaints, you know, because yeah, the gas shouldn't be the concern. It should be the length of time that you go out and what you plan to do with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess those petty complaints, I don't give them any love.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you the best knowledge that I have for somebody with no skill set. If you find an apartment complex and they have a common hallway entry, you know, and you got your 3 floors right there, that apartment complex will pay you to come in, Windex the windows, and vacuum the hallway. That covers all those excuses right there. You just need to work more. You know, this is how I've learned in my life. The excuses is just going to hold you back. There's money everywhere out here, and you can just pick it up if you choose to take away something. Like I don't drink. I don't go out and party. 95% of my friends do. I make 2 and 3 times more the money than all of my friends just because of my lifestyle. These guys are waking up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturdays and Sundays. I've already, you know, painted something or did something outside of my normal Monday through Friday. You know?
I agree, man. Not to pay that stuff attention, because at the end of the day, a lot of that is excuses, and us as humans, we're so capable of learning many different things, or you know, to your point, working harder. And for anyone that's ever in a situation, if you get yourself into a situation, you can get yourself out of a situation, and you really got to just kind of audit yourself and be like, okay, you know, to your point, and one thing that Richard's mentioned, if that's the person's complaint is, you know, the staking fee is too high to end or whatever, then yeah, go get a couple more hours on your work shift, or find something to supplement for that. You know, don't ever let a damn good opportunity slip by you just because you were, you know, bitching and moaning over like a couple $1 fee, you know?
Yeah. Even as successful as I've been in my life, I think one of the wildest things that's happened to me was this Chinese restaurant that went global here, or national in the United States. As soon as I ate there once, old Nardo that makes great money had a dishwasher application inside because I wanted more of that food. And I didn't want to pay those retail prices. So I went and worked. And then next thing I know, I'm behind the glass window cooking for everybody out there. I'm not a cook. I have none of this education, but I want it's out of necessity. You know, are you hungry? Are you tired of being in your same position? Well, this is what you have to do. Period. You know, you got to get it.
It's true, man. Yeah. I mean, I think I've had this conversation with other people in my life as well, but I think struggle is a good thing, and it kind of puts you in that situation that, you know, it really kind of makes you really like prove who you are, like whether you let it like defeat you completely and you keep just like cowering down, or whether you say like, okay, here's the problem that I have in front of me. How can I address this problem, and how can I push through the problem instead of letting the problem, you know, get through to you and let it stop you. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it'll fester.
Exactly. Well, yeah, we got some people in the chat. Just want to give a shout out as well. So we got I'll just kind of go through the list, because I've kind of been, you know, ignoring the chat for a few minutes. So we'll say hi to the chat. We got Bob Andre 53. He says Hex is also really efficient for what it does. I agree completely. Steven with It's My Fishing Blog says, you reap what you sow, and then has a little plant seed, and then it says #Hex. And for anyone that isn't too familiar with it, I agree with that completely. And for anyone that's ever interested in branching out or broaching out to different topics, Joe Hexotic, are you familiar with Joe, Nardo?
Oh yeah, I was backstage with him for a while.
Cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah, for anyone that's not familiar, Joe today had his first I don't know what he's calling it, but it's like a hex Sunday, like a Sunday stream, kind of like a spiritual type of stream type deal where they're kind of using analogies and whatnot. But anyways, they were kind of talking about seeds and how seeds. You mentioned you have a couple of seeds right now, and it's winter time, so you can't necessarily plant it. But when you do plant a seed and you water it a little bit, and photosynthesis and the sun and whatnot, it can grow into something big and flourish. So they were kind of using that analogy for like hex staking and whatnot. Even someone like yourself, you mentioned you had a one. Can you tell us again, like a 1 penny principal, but then you staked it for a certain time and now it's worth X amount or something?
Yeah, that was we had the Bitcoin free claim at the beginning, so I had a IT guy that helped me do the initial free claim. So me and him made a pack in 5 years with that 90%. We'll split that. Well, what happened with that 10%? It was 1 penny worth of hex at the moment. I think it was 368 hex, and then it was 1 penny gas fee. Because we were so early on in the project, and I think at the highest point it was almost like $7 or $6. Off my 1 penny I had staked out for 10 years. And I'm like, man, I think this is what they kind of like write books and stuff about. Even though it was just me and my belief of the project. And I know the power just because of my past experience of what $5 or $50 or $100 can do over that length of time. I mean, this is beautiful.
It's so true. And I can speak anecdotally to that as well. Getting in Hex since following Richard since before Hex, and then watching Hex come into fruition, and finally waiting for there's kind of like the meme that there's always like 4 more weeks or whatever, and finally wait till launch. And those of us like myself that listened to Richard did well, and it was cool. He mentioned that with the Hex had a Bitcoin free claim where you would get like a snapshot of the Bitcoin wallet that you had, and then you get a free claim from that. And anyways, I did that I converted all my altcoins at the time into Bitcoin, enough for the snapshot. And then once that snapshot happened, sold that for Ethereum or traded it, swapped it, and then used that to kind of average in. But it's really cool. I mean, someone like Hexologist mentions that he FOMO'd in on day one, and a lot of us did the same, myself included. But even those people that did that, they're still up now, and they're still earning interest if they're staking. So for someone like yourself to have that penny stake go up to such a high amount in under a year it's so cool, man.
Yeah, it was unexpected, to have this transition be so fast. But I did. I guess I did great.
It's cool, man. Hex is great, and yeah, I've been so lucky to to be in early enough to where you can get a more substantial amount when the adoption amplifier happened. And it's definitely given me the opportunity to kind of give back and give to the people that I care about and I like, so like for my girlfriend, got her a staking wallet with varying lengths and quantities, but same thing with all of my brothers, my 3 older brothers, the dad, the mom, and then also a couple of my brothers, their friends. So one of my old, well, I shouldn't say specifically, but yeah, one of my brother's friends, they had a kid that's like 2 now, but I kind of felt like compelled to make a wallet for his kid, so for my brother's friend and for their kid, they'll have, stakes at different lengths of time. But for the kid, I did one for like 5 years and then one for like quad, all the way out for 15, So I was telling my brother's friend, like, oh, dude, you and your kid are going to be doing very, very well as those mature, and I'm happy that Hex has given me the opportunity to give back a little bit. Like I had the Uniswap airdrop, people that used it for even one trade and whatnot. Even a coworker that I got into it, he had just one trade that was like a couple dollars worth of Ethereum, and then all of a sudden when the airdrop happened, each claim was like $1,500 at the time. So with the few claims that I had, I kind of just dispersed that back out to family members and stuff like that. And it's cool that, kind of Hex can allow that opportunity of prosperity and whatnot. So.
Yeah, we've been blessed this entire ride. The airdrops have been so cool. I have a buddy that is the epitome of what that airdrop was about. He had only bought about $100 or so worth of Hex, and he went to try to step up his game and try to use Uniswap. Well, he sent that $100 to the origin address. He got so bummed out. He said, "I'm not doing this stuff no more, blah, blah, blah." Well, it was just that 2 months later, I gave him another phone call like, "Hey, bud, you need to check. I believe this airdrop was for you yourself." And man, he doubled down, did the Hex, finally, was listening to me about, branching some of it out and, 5 years, 8, 10, hey, do the shot in the dark, 15, we all got lucky.
I agree, man. It's really cool because 2020 for 2019 through 2020 was tough for a lot of people, obviously globally and socially and stuff like that. So it's really cool. I've heard Crypto Coffee, Matt with Crypto Coffee mentioned before that it's almost like we've got like a secret, because a lot of people were saying like, oh, with everything going around that they were so bummed and that it was their worst year. And Matt was saying, Crypto Coffee was like, man, this was my best year, at least financially. And it's only a little bit over 1 year that Hex it's a 400 something days, but it's made such a big impact on the world already and a lot of different people. And I think honestly, we're just getting started. Richard's mentioned that the design intention, since it is programmable money and it's programmed, it's all complete and locked up. It is designed, it's store value, you can lock it up for 15.2 years, but it is designed to, in the future be like, hopefully like the global reserve currency type deal, like nothing else is better than this. And, you've heard people mention that about like Bitcoin back in the day, that it would surpass gold and whatnot. But I think if anything actually had the capabilities of doing such a feat and going into the traditional systems and competing with them, I think Hex would definitely be that black hole for that.
Well, if that all comes about, I already have a group of 22 that I handpicked for any company or service. We're all from different trades, from little to big, and we're going to do great things.
That's cool, man. Yeah, there's a lot of people in the community, myself included, with not only what we've done already and currently, but what we have planned for the future. And it's cool to hear. It's cool to hear a lot of the original gangsters of Hex, and even the people like Kareem that maybe got in a few months into it when it came out. But a lot of us have those bigger aspirations than just boats and hoes, like quote unquote, like a lot of us, sure we'll have our fun and, get any necessities out the way. But once you have such a, theoretically, if one person has, more than enough in abundance and whatnot, maybe you can, deploy that capital back out to something that might be beneficial for the world and that can help others as well. Cause, especially if you have information like something like Hex, I feel like it's, just such an amazing thing for a lot of people. And Richard mentions like, yeah, word of mouth, like get it out to the people. And I do think it is that thing that could help a lot of people, get out of maybe like tougher financial situations. David Feeder that got the tattoo today, he was someone that was able to sell or get rid of all of his student loan debt, just in a year. So it's cool that there will be many more stories like that.
Yeah, well, I went to a trade. My trade was only $18,000. Took a little trip to Tennessee, and it was only for a year. I wanted to go to college. I've said it, I don't know how many different times at work, that I should have went to college, and but I was scared of that debt. I've had
Rightfully so.
I've had car payments before, and there's certain black swan events that happen in the economy that nobody could have prepared for. And ever since 06, I have lived the most minimalist lifestyle that I know of. I still act like I'm $10 or $12 an hour. I do not reach outside of that, even though I'm making a lot more than that. But I need to have options to feel secure with whatever I got going on. Or if just like a couple months ago, my mom all of a sudden needed $1,000. I'm the one that my family looks to. Hey, I got a problem, and it's literally just how I go about my life.
That's awesome, man. It's really cool to hear that, and it's nice to have the opportunity that I have to surround myself with people that are, doing great things and that are like-minded and want to be, want to continue being successful and, valuable to the world. One of the things, Cookie Boys, we're live on multiple different platforms. One of them just being DLive. But one of the things Cookie Boys mentioned was, he says, the comeback story is what people like. And then he also says, it's not about how many times you get knocked down or fail, but how many times you get back up and, make it to the top or make it through a feat like that.
I kind of go through that every day with repairing vehicles. Somebody pulls a car in and says, hey, I don't have the money to replace that panel. Instantly in my head, I have like a small panic attack. How am I going to do this? I need to start going to my Rolodex, which is all the tools I have in my tool cart, and just think of all these past repairs, what I did right, what I did wrong. Can I do this? You have to constantly fight. And then on top of it, sometimes I've ruined panels by overstretching the metal, and then it becomes like a tin can. Poop, 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 poop. Well, then you got to heat shrink that back and get the molecules right to get the strength in it. You just have to know how to fail fast. And then let's not forget, let's get that in primer before the end of the day. Even though it's 4:45, stay an extra hour right now. Then that way, when you come in that next day, we're good. You just, you got to keep fighting.
That's super cool, man. It sounds like you have many different successes and victories, every day. If that's what you're saying, which it is that, every day is in a new car or different part that you're, working up and making good. And even things like I've heard of people saying, like, for like motivation and being successful, like even something as small as like making your bed every single day, when you have a routine of consistency, and you mentioned quitting alcohol X amount of years ago. When you're consistent with that, and or with Hex, like when you're whatever amount it is, $5, $10, $100, $1,000, like whatever amount that you can consistently work up onto, whether it's investing or health or diet and stuff like that. It's the consistency that makes the success. It's not overnight. And even some of the people that I know today in my life that they see the the little bit of gains that I've made in Hex, and they're like, oh, well, you were just lucky and this and that. And it's like, no, I mean, sure, yeah, there was the luck of the timing and whatnot, but those people had the same opportunity, but maybe they they didn't invest their capital. They just, wanted to wait and see if the big payday was going to be a big scam or not, So there's always different like risk and reward and things like that happen. But with something like Hex, it's cool that we're just a little bit over a year. Like, the opportunity is still ripe, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I found one thing years ago, even before I saw Richard's first self-help videos, was if I need to be stronger, I need to take things away. So for me, stacking wins starts with making your bed before I go downstairs. If I don't make my bed before I go downstairs, I didn't deserve creamer with my coffee. And I just started taking things away until my mind got right and accepted everything I had to do to get what I, kind of wanted there. But then also there's other disciplines, like the gold and silver market. That's what gave me patience. I did that for, years. I think over 7 years I held all that junk. But then, found Bitcoin, and that really ramped up everything very quick. But then I also found out too that not every dollar is meant to be taken. There's all kinds of flashy lights. It's kind of like Vegas when you're on the crypto scene, and you really got to know to stay in your lane, and don't even really reach out for different information from other people because they have all their angles too. So that was a big deal with me right off the bat. I saw Richard Hart's body language. And I was like, I know that dude's worked in Florida. He's worked with the same people I've worked with. And, I'm nobody. I was just a kid when I was working down there, but I fired over 20 people in 1 year. I had people that were 20 years older than me with families and all this other stuff that I respected, but they're still drug addicts. They're still doing stuff behind the scenes. And you got to get stronger one way or the other.
That's really cool. Can you maybe, you have that experience. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit on that? Was it like your own gig that you were running, or can you kind of tell us how you came about to, laying off 20 people in a year, or how that worked?
Well, when I moved to Florida, as soon as I moved all my stuff in, that next morning, I went out and pounded the pavement. Whoever had an open light on their business door, it didn't matter what the trade was, I was going to do it. So the first stop I did was at a sign company. Sure enough, got a job there. That guy manipulated me the entire time and didn't pay me for over 3 weeks. And I still had that Ohio gullibleness. He's going to pay me, blah, blah, blah. No, they shut the doors down within 4 weeks. So then I was like, all right, fail fast again. How do I get ahead? I went down to a car lot that was a little closer. I had done body work before, even though I didn't have any of my tools with me. Found a used car place, and I worked there for 4.5 years, and I worked my way up. I was the only white guy there that spoke English. Everybody else was Latin descent, and that's where I tried to learn Spanish. I got to do this, and that's how I got the name Horchata. So
nice, dude.
Everybody respected me. I could keep up with them through the heat, through the nasty weather conditions that are down there in Florida, and man, owned it. So with the bodywork trade, it's pretty much just like any other trade. Everybody's going to come in and tell you that they can do this, they can do that. And, I kind of give anybody a chance. Like I said, I'm from Ohio. And people would come in and I would just see their techniques or how they're using their tools or how many times they picked up their cell phone. So what I did, instead of me running to the boss, hey, this guy's doing this, he keeps going down to the gas station, I bought everything those guys, liked, whether it was Mountain Dew or candy bars or anything. I found out a way to keep them at the shop. And then, I made $1 or $2. And then just over a period of time, I would have to eventually let those guys go because you're falling out. Now you just want to be my friend. And I was like, this is a business. You have to be here on time. And then next thing you know, people get their license taken from a DUI the weekend before, or somebody would get arrested and nobody had cell phones. And that's just something I can't deal with. If you can't have your life in somewhat order, I don't need that money. I'll step up a little bit more and work a Saturday or Sunday to get the same workflow through. And then in
That's really
return, I got a
cool.
raise.
That's awesome. I know Richard's mentioned the same thing because he's had the question before, like as far as interviewing and like people's skills go, like how do you, when you're interviewing someone, how do you tell like if this person's going to be like the right person for the job or not? And he mentioned that he would obviously like to be better in that skill set himself, but in general, anything that I've heard from successful people, including Richard or like Gary Vaynerchuk, is know when to fire. You know when to you tried to help them, they didn't take it, and all right, well now we just got to cut ties. I mean, you're kind of on like especially when you're on like a specific path, and the people might be like holding you back, and they're not getting it. Then you maybe they'll learn down the road. But that's cool that you had that experience, man, because you mentioned the being from Ohio and whatnot, like the maybe the gullibleness, or not, I shouldn't say gullibleness, but maybe like you're not used to people not being honest, or maybe having that thing. And so you give everyone the opportunity, but it's good that you're able to not keep letting them make the same mistakes, because that doesn't help anyone.
Yeah, because the other thing I would do is put all the money on the line. A lot of people thought that just because I might have been number 2 in the company, and I get to talk to the boss, but the boss doesn't talk to everybody else. And I kept telling them, well, that's earned. So what I figured out to take away some of that animosity they had towards me is some of the bonuses I might get. I'd put it right there on the table. I'd put it on my toolbox. Here's 200 a piece. If y'all can do this and not have me come and check on you, that's all yours. I don't need all this money. I'm good with the money that I get, and I kind of know where to place it to, stay on the up and up. But that seemed to be the real kicker. And then once I moved home, I used that same mentality for different side jobs I was on, because a lot of times after working Monday through Friday, I'm pretty tired. But I needed to get these guys motivated to do something, because when I turn the corner, just like any other boss, now the mice are going to play. They're going to be texting on the phones. That stuff just hurts me, because I've given you every opportunity. Some of these times I've even picked them up. I've paid for everything. I bought their lunches, everything. I can't do anything more. So, the couple guys that do continue to step up for me, yeah, we're going to take them all the way.
That's cool, man. One of my neighbors that I used to work for that had quite a big, it was actually commercial painting company that around all of Washington State. He still is pretty big commercial contractor. But you mentioned kind of like when you, part of the other side of the story of the firing 20 people in that year is you probably found good people along the ways that you could kind of keep in your team and keep maybe like you said, you could take the bonus that you had and kind of divvy it up if they earned it. I think that's really cool, because when you have something, when you have like in a shop scenario, you mentioned my grandpa had mechanic shops and whatnot. When you can trust the people that you're working with, then that's a really big deal. And when you can see the quality of work that's consistent, I think that's important. And even in like a analogy to like crypto and to Richard Hart, a lot of the people that get like scared away would get scared away from people that were like fudding, like, oh, they would say like things like, oh, Richard is lying and whatnot, and he's trying to fool you guys. And then you look at what he's actually doing, and it's like, no, it's the complete opposite. So now we know that we can't trust that person that fed us that BS information. So I think a lot of life is kind of like not only who you surround yourself with and what kind of stuff you do to also get back, but yeah, you got to cancel out that negative false information, because it can eat you alive if you listen to it,
Yeah, I think probably one of the most valuable lessons I learned out of Florida and being in that position of, I don't know, mediocre authority was it's cool to listen. I don't have to react. You can tell me your whole story. I might not even say a word. I'll just turn around and start working again. But after a period of time, they're going to run out of stories. And that's probably my claim to fame. I just sit back and I listen. I mean, and to be honest, I sat back and listened almost the entire time through the Hex project and just kind of meandered the waters as I would, see individuals and what they're repping. Or if somebody was to follow me, and then I would look at their profile and see what they're talking about. At the moment, I have that time to go through that, and yeah, you got to protect yourself at some point. You got to look into what these guys are doing, and it's cool to say nothing too.
I completely agree, and it's so cool to be around so many like-minded individuals. I mean, Richard's got not just like masters and whatnot and NLP and like learning that art and psychology and like becoming like a personal developer. Like he did a lot of like Tony Robbins courses, but to your point, not all of like a conversation is trying to dominate it or being able to get your point in. A lot of what Richard has mentioned, like people would say, Richard, how do you know so much about so many things? And he would say the same thing that you said and that I agree with, is like shutting up and listening, and you can learn a lot from just letting someone continue talking. They'll usually reveal a lot of information the longer they talk.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's cool, man. Yeah, some of the people in the chat, just to kind of acknowledge them as well. Let's see here. Big Pep, he says, you got a solid philosophy, Nardo. So shout out to Big Pep. He's great. I like him quite a bit. For anyone that isn't too familiar, he had a morning stream today, but Big Pep is great.
Yeah, I stop in on Pep every now and again. I might only comment twice, but I'm listening the whole time. That guy, he reminds me of one of my old basketball coaches I had. And yeah, he's just full of life knowledge.
Exactly. Let me just finish that comment there. I agree, man. The cool thing about this community, and Pep has mentioned it before, Big Pep, but everyone kind of has their own things, their own like unique perspectives that they bring or their philosophies on things. And we all just have so many different, all of us collectively, we all have like so much different knowledge. Like even just someone like Richard has like a wide variety of knowledge, and it's really cool that we all can learn from each other and share with each other. People like Gary with Funding Gym and Gifting You Hex. A lot of times when I was just getting into streaming and just getting into like actually participating more in the Hex community, when I would do the streams, he would say like, branch yourself out. Don't necessarily just do all of one thing. Try to branch yourself out into, different communities or cross promote, things like that. And that's what really can help a lot of us and just yourself not to stay in one path, to have a, like you said, jack of all, master of none type deal.
Yeah, and that was kind of one of my goals. I haven't really shared, but I figured if I could have enough knowledge out of everything that I'm doing, maybe in the future there'll be an opportunity similar, just like yourself, Bran. All of a sudden, you want to build a big pole barn garage in your backyard, and you haven't really had any experience with it. Well, I have no kids. I'm not married. I can fly out and help that crew do the best thing for the job, and then on top of it, I care about what's going to happen for this pole barn. I can give you tips along the way. Hey, we're in this climate zone. We might need to dig these pillars deeper, for added support, or we might need to use Teflon threaded bolts, for extra support because we're running longer beams. Yeah, I mean,
cool,
there for a while after I did body work, I had enough nest eggs saved up. I thought about going and working with UNICEF and just go out and dig wells or whatever they're building. Or I tell you one, that I am Hexican on Twitter. I was jealous when he was building that new schoolhouse or that new church because I didn't have an opportunity to go down there. I would love to have a work vacation right now.
Yeah. Right. That's so cool, man. It's definitely a sign that you're doing that you're in like the right that you're doing the right thing. You know, a lot of people like outside of like what they do for work, like most people they don't like to work, and what they do for work is sometimes they'll dread it and not want to work those extra overtime hours and whatnot. But when you're doing something that you know you kind of like already or you're passionate about, the work all of a sudden doesn't necessarily feel like work. So you can not only like maximize your passion out of it, but also provide a lot of value in return.
Well, that, and I also believe too, if you're not pushing yourself constantly for the elongated work week or anything after the work day, I believe there's certain scenarios in life that are going to happen that you might not be prepared for. You know, similar to the Cabana Challenge. If you're able to get in shape and stay active and all this, let's just say something bad happens. Well, now you're in the hospital. You need to be consistent in fighting. If you're not, it's very easy to give up.
That's so true, man. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. A lot of my success in the past, or, you know, even anything that you work on in the future, has been from staying consistent. And even if it's just, you know, you mentioned health and kind of like that as an example, even just a small amount today, just a little bit today to work on that goal, or even a lot, it doesn't matter, but it's just the consistency that matters. You know, if you eat a salad, if you only eat a salad once and then the rest of, you know, your diet is not healthy, then okay, the actual salad is going to get canceled out. But if you maybe do the opposite and eat more healthy 90% of the time and treat yourself every once in a while, then, you know, you might have the results you're looking for, you know.
I definitely agree.
You know, another question I want to ask you, you kind of said something earlier that kind of inspired this question. So say we're 5, 10, 15 years down the road, Hex has done significantly better than any of us thought it ever could. You know, just even in 1 year, one penny was like, holy moly, this is such a high amount. But I want to ask you, what do you, you know, say you retired from Hex or whatever, what would you do with like the excess? Like, what would you do if you had like enough money to not worry about yourself, but you could give back? Like, is there anything that you have plans for in the future? I know like Freddie Quotes, for example, RG3 and Freddie Quotes share a passion for like, yeah, helping the homeless, or, you know, some people like Dollar Cost Crypto. Miguel mentions like having some sort of like school, like being able to educate people more, like younger generations. Do you have any aspirations for any of that?
I do. I guess the first one is kind of something I've already done, and I saw how, like when I first, well, I thought I had enough money to retire in 2017, and I moved home, and I got a job with my buddy at the projects. So we were doing maintenance, and I wanted to help my town. So I thought I could paint all of the project buildings in our whole town, which was like 4 different sites. All I wanted was a memorial bench. And how all of this happened, I was able to paint everything. I got hated on by every single employee I had, saying I'm working too hard, I'm doing that. And I told them these people that live in these buildings deserve it. And I kept standing on that. And that's what got me to paint another set of projects over by our river. And believe it or not, since I painted those buildings, not one thing has had graffiti put on it. Those people respect everything. You just got to give them an even playing field right from the beginning. And I can still go down there anytime and everybody screams out my name. You know, I'm the one that put it on a fleek, I think is what they call it, you know? So
that's awesome.
I enjoy painting. It's probably one of the only jobs I've had where I never complained. And I thought I was strong, and that instant gratification was there, you know, every single wall that got done. So I think I'm probably going to go through and paint different random neighborhoods. If some of my Hexican buddies say, "Hey, I just bought a couple houses over in this neighborhood. Across the street looks bad," probably like to start like a nonprofit. And if people believe in me and what I do, I could go across the street and I'll paint those houses for free. Or if somebody has another scenario that comes up, we can help them. I mean, that's kind of the reason why I watch Ask This Old House nonstop.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome, man. I growing up used to always watch a similar shows, not only that one, but many other shows as well. So that's cool, man. That's really awesome to hear. And it's even more cool to hear that when you mention like a level playing field and things like that, and maybe at the sites that you painted, they might have not had that opportunity before that. But to kind of bring it back, like it sounds kind of reminds me of someone else, maybe even Ken Bozak. Last night, Joe Hexotic and Ken Bozak, they had a live stream, and one thing that Ken was talking about is there was an opportunity to invest in something, but it was only for like accredited investors, and that if that playing field were leveled, kind of like similar to how Hex is, in my opinion. I feel like Hex, that was kind of what I wanted to say, is like Hex is that level playing field and is that opportunity that is, pretty much equal for, like, everyone has like an equal part that they can, you start on kind of like the same foot. And if you, today is always going to be the best day to stake, but it's cool to see that, the one penny can turn into quite a bit. So it doesn't take much to, earn that. You just got to wait enough time and be patient enough.
Yeah, I believe that's why I'm here, is because it wasn't an even playing field. And then on top of it, the things that I did during that time of being consistent and participating each day. Yeah, that's why I'm here.
That's cool, man. So you mentioned painting. Painting is kind of like your go-to.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would love to have like a Pimp My Ride for all of us Hexicans that wanted some cars done, but the labor hours that are involved for the customizations that everybody wants, it just pushes everybody back. Even though I have so many great technicians that I know, and I could probably get a building to get us all together and then do all those cool things. I guess that'd probably just be years down the road.
Sure. Yeah. So it doesn't scale as much as the painting might. When you mentioned the painting, I think from the last stream we talked about this, but did you say you just do brush and roll, or can you tell us a little bit more about spray or brush and roll? Or
I prefer to do brush and roll just because of the labor aspect of it. I like the workout. I like the motion and everything that kind of keeps me in shape in theory. Spraying, I found out a lot of people aren't educated with it. They never read the directions and they never really clean nothing out. So I've seen some pretty mega disasters. I even saw one guy go to a hospital because the hose broke and that paint at that whatever PSI it was went right across his face.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So, it's like a risk reward scenario. So when I go into spraying anything, whether it's wood trim or doors, I take it to the body shop. I take it to the actual paint booth. Yeah. I mean, I just prefer that clean, dust-free environment instead of having,
No, I agree with that as well. And then, I guess kind of to also add on to that point. So yeah, painting would kind of be your preference. Are you doing anything with that tow truck that you got, or you got any plan? Anything with that?
That was going to be my first purchase.
Okay, nice.
I always wanted to have me a tow truck. Main reason is because my stepbrother's been a mechanic his whole life. The only reason why I'm a body man is because all my family are mechanics. I thought that I could complete the circle. When I chose bodywork, it's not what my heart wanted, but I want to get the tow truck for my stepbrother because that boy, bust his butt every single day to make every dollar he has for him and his wife and kids. So really, that tow truck ain't even for me. It's for him. But if any one of us Hexicans needed a car, you want to buy a car in Texas, I'll take that tow truck to Texas, take it from my brother for a week, and I'll get you that car.
That's cool, man. Yeah, yeah, that's awesome, man. I know a lot of us Hexicans are kind of similarly minded where Freddie Quotes does like the t-shirts and something like that for like the homeless people. But I don't know, kind of just it's cool to see that that people usually once you have like, yeah, you got enough for all the necessities that you need. A lot of people then result to like, how can I get back, or how can I, provide some sort of value, like make the world a better place. So I think, people like Richard with sometime after Hex in the future, we'll be working on like medical progression and stuff like that. And I don't know, I think it's cool to see that no one is necessarily like stopping. Like it's not just learning one thing and then stopping forever. It's kind of like we're all continuously learning for forever, it seems.
I know. I look forward to the sci-fi part. I was very interested. I've still haven't been able to finish reading, all of Richard's book that he wrote, just because reading is probably my worst, thing I got in time. Sure. But
yeah, man,
my parents, when I was talking to them about Hex in the beginning, about, a 5, 10, 15-year stake, they always kept saying, we're not going to be around. We don't want anything to do with that. And yeah, I think the sci-fi thing is going to probably have a bigger impact than anybody knows at the moment, even though science has come so far, especially outside of the United States with all the cool stuff that they do out there. It seems like we're limited, in our country.
Exactly, man.
I got a thing too. If any of you Hexicans want any of these fancy cars, you don't even have to buy them. Go be a valet at a restaurant. You will have a chance of getting in all of these exotic cars. Still to the day, the Karma Evolution 2 was the coolest ride I've ever been in. And that's Tesla's competition. Nobody even knows about this car, and you can get it right now for 30 grand. It just blows my mind. Everybody wants a $300,000 car. So
it's called the Karma Evolution 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get like an 03 or an 06 right now for 30 grand. It's super cheap, and it is a pure race car. No cup holders, no radio. It smokes a Tesla. But a lot of people, they just don't know it because you're not looking hard enough. And then the other really neat rides, the Mercedes Black Edition. You cannot buy that car unless you've already previously bought Mercedes before. You have to be invited for the bid. So these are the rides that I like, or making something that's like a Mad Max type of vehicle, and I'll just run into your fancy car just and laugh, and I'll fix it next week, take it to the shop.
Jeez, dude, that's awesome, man. Marco, he says, what car, name and model? I'm not sure if he's referring to the Evolution.
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
Yeah, Karma Evolution 2. It's a super neat full electric race car.
That's
so
awesome, man.
If you like your Tesla and you like it to be automatic park, don't get this one. But if you want to win,
that's cool. I mean, you mentioned not a lot of people know about it, but it's like better than like the lead rival. That's cool, man. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time for maybe that information to go out and kind of snowball out, but maybe not for some things. But at least for Hex, I think it is kind of like that snowball effect. The person that I was talking to before 45 minutes before the stream started, we were kind of talking about that, like as far as Hex goes and whatnot. A lot of us that are in early now, but 15 years down from the road, like just imagine how much each year is going to be like a bigger impact. And we've seen what this community has done just in a little bit over a year. And it's really cool to see like what kind of team we have in the Hexicans alone, let alone the people that keep coming in and I think we got quite the right team, you know.
I agree. Every single Hexican offers something. Me and Jay Mills, he's on Twitter. Me and him talk back and forth a little bit. He checks in on me to see if I'm still on a good path to stop smoking cigarettes. Sammy Bochica has been another great friend that's made the social media experience more or less just like a normal thing, sharing little duck videos or, stuff, just corny stuff, stuff that has a heart. I see a lot of people on social media that I really just choose not to interact with at all, because if I can't do it in my normal reality, I'm not going to go down that road that most of those guys are going down. That you got to live in the real world.
Right. Yeah. That's one of the things I really like about what Richard Hart is kind of like showing us and emulated and whatnot is living in the real world. And part of that is updating like the worldview, right? Like sometimes your perspective on something might need to be updated for the current paradigm or the future paradigm that we're all living in. But I think that's really important, man, because you see some people like stagnate, like they're just static, but people that kind of like flow like a current and continuously try to learn and update and improve themselves, I think are the ones that really show tremendous yield and benefits and success from that. The work has been put in, and you get the success from that.
Yeah. One of the big reasons that I'm even in the position that I am, I bought my house, I think over a year ago now. I had to update my worldview. I had one water spot in the back of the house. Didn't think it was going to be no big deal to patch it and fix it. Well, then about 3-4 months after I was in the house, Hex still hasn't came out yet. And when I started tearing out that drywall, I had 100% termite infestation. So I quickly realized the money that's in my savings account is not going to fix this house. I have a better luck of investing in Hex, still continue to work hard, find other jobs that I can do outside of Monday to Friday to, get back on track. And sure enough, that mindset and that technique is what needs to happen. And it worked for me.
That's cool, man. Kind of like we were saying earlier, like the tenacity and the perseverance of pushing through things. Life can. The cool thing about Hex is, like I've said a million times before, it's not just about it, but like the cool thing that a lot of us share in common are pushing through mistakes and pushing through things that we learn from. You mentioned alcohol and cigarettes, and every day is a new challenge. Nothing, I guess, particularly that is worth having is comes just on your lap. Like you usually gotta work for it. So it's the slow and steady that wins the race.
100%. Yeah, I have some of my friends on Twitter. Just over a period of time of sharing, and then next thing you know, we're communicating. Even still to the day, me and Richie Rich Crypto, we share playlists of different songs. Just out of the blue, I'll think of him because we had similar lives when we were younger, similar music, and I'll shoot him a playlist, or he'll shoot me one back. And it's just being in position when somebody needs you, because at the end of the day, music pumps you up or gets you through a bad work day. If you have the radio going, and we all need pumped up.
What kind of music were you sharing, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, everything, man.
Okay, yeah.
Old school, from
okay,
like Outcasts, AT-Aliens. Even some of my old ones like Master P and
nice, dude, nice.
The Inner City.
Right. That's cool, man. Yeah, I think that's cool. The person that I was talking to before this kind of mentioned that like sometimes social media sometimes you can have like a technology and what you do with it can either be like positive or negative, like, you know, can be successful or be a detriment. But him and I were talking about like social media, and it's great that someone like himself that reached out to me yesterday, it's great that we could like schedule a call today and kind of talk. Like the person that reached out to me has been in the Hexican community for, I don't even know how long, but at least a handful of months. And he's asking me like, hey man, I want to get started. Like, how do I kind of start and, you know, do this stream stuff. So I was kind of going through it with him a little bit, what I use, but it's cool to see like every single day there's just not only new content, but there's new Hexicans. There's people like David today that were live streaming the Hex tattoo, and he's like the fourth person I know that's gotten a Hex tattoo. And what other kind of community does this? Like it's such a cool community, and it's so much more unique. It's authentic and it's legit. It's not like artificial or made up. You can sense the authenticity in every single person that's in the community and that goes in front of the camera. So it's really cool to see what kind of people we're working with. Because when I first got into Hex, I'd been following Richard for a while, and we kind of talked about this on the last stream that we had, but I didn't really realize how many people that were like myself, you know, like-minded, and that were in the community. And it's really cool that I finally joined the Telegram, and I was like, holy shit, dude, there's so many people in here, and a lot of us are showing our face. We're not, you know, not just hiding behind avatars, and it's really cool, man. We've really got a large amount of people that not only have like, you know, great ideas for the future and whatnot, but a lot of us together being in the same product, I think is really, really powerful.
Yeah, it feels more or less like we're building a different nation, or even just one step further, that we are creating the new world. I don't really agree with like the small stuff, because this is so unprecedented. My dad was a coach of all sports. I've never seen a team like this.
Yeah.
You know, period.
That's cool, man. Yeah, you know, there's people in my life that maybe when it came to Hex specifically, they didn't show much interest at first, but now as Hex has kind of rubbed off on me, even the person recently was like, Bran, I've never seen not only you being so active in the community, like as far as the participation, but he's never seen such a community as well. And I think that really goes to show you like what we can do, you know. People like Steph and Firebun making like Staker app and making it easy for the average Joe to you know, look at the statistics and their wallets and whatnot. But we really got a huge group of people, like I mentioned, and it's cool to know like everyone's kind of on the same page. You know, we all want to help out as well, not just ourselves. So.
Yeah, and you know, we still haven't seen any of my 20 individuals that I got in it as well. You know, these guys are also larger in life, but you know, they're very weary of their families and all that stuff, and you know, putting their face out there because they just don't know. You know, 2 or 3 of them have got Twitter accounts, but then I have like one picture that shows like 6 or 7 of my buddies. But all these guys are pillars in their trades themselves, whether it's electricians, heating and air. You know, all these guys are going to be coming out. There's more of us, you know.
It's so true. I mean, even people like Big Pep, he came out when Richard was saying the same thing. Like, you know, if especially if you're like passionate about something and you know it's a good product and whatnot, a lot of us, the people on like on the sidelines, you're like, oh, I want to participate in the Hex community, but I don't know how, or I don't know what. Like, you know, yeah, you know, just even coming on streams is pretty cool. But it's cool. Like people like John Lavelle, like CCFX Studios, Johnny Chaos. he's really kind of done the same thing as far as sorry, I got distracted by a comment, but he's done the same thing by like doing little live streams and interacting with the community, and all of us, really got something going on. And even to like the haters and the naysayers and whatnot, we just ignore them. They're not worth the attention necessarily. Like they either get ignored or they get shunned. But it's cool to know that a lot of us are building while some are critiquing. It's like, okay, we'll just not even accept it.
Yeah, the longer I was in the Twitter community, even though I was in pretty much every chat that was going on, I just might not have commented. I was just observing. I started doing similar videos because of Johnny Chaos. I didn't really know what to do either, and I guess I wasn't really confident enough. If somebody was to ask me a definition of why not this influencer or that influencer. So I just kind of started doing the car stuff. And then it really hit home after his last interview with Funding Jim. We've had similar things with the corporations that we've worked for. Even though all of my confidentiality agreements of the individuals of vehicles I've worked on are up, I still don't choose to talk about it. But none of those companies really ever took care of me. I gave everything to those boys, including, my life hours, and I probably could have been married if I wasn't in this particular trade that's, so demanding of your time.
Yeah.
I could have done a lot of things, but yeah, I chose, I guess I'm just going to continue making small videos. If I could ever figure out how to see the chat on Twitter when I do live stream, that's when it'll probably be different for me, because I have no idea how to do it.
No worries. Yeah, I think it's through. I think the actual. Yeah, I think when you're doing a live on Twitter, it's generally like Periscope, the application that you're running through, like Twitter's live stream platform. So I think it's through that actual. We could definitely find that for you. Which oddly enough, I think they're maybe not going to be around, or they're going to be stopping their Periscope. I heard possibly, not too sure, but I don't know why they would do such a thing. But so yeah, some people in the chat, David Morales, he's always he's been around for such a long time. But we got Cookie Boy says, "Hex your life up." Elbow Cough, you got this. But then David Morales says, "This Nardo guy is awesome. So many Hexicans are great with such life stories."
Thanks, David.
Hialeah guy. I don't know what Hialeah means, but good to see you, David. And then we got a lot of other people. We got Hornet UK1. They're in the chat. Let's see who else we got. Oh, there's another person that I've chit-chatted with recently that, he's welcome on my stream anytime as well. But Hex Monkey, and he was actually on the stream recently with Gary, Funding Jim, and RG3 with Discourse Syndicate. So that was
I believe I saw him there.
Yeah, he was in there. Yeah, he's been on stream a handful of times, and like I said, maybe him and we've chit-chatted a little bit recently. Maybe him and I can get on he can come on the stream sometime soon. Chris Huppert says AT Liens is a sick album. I know my friends told me about that. He showed me that album. Who's probably in a similar age range, so that's a classic album there.
Yeah, man, the lyrics are unreal.
It's so cool, man. I listened to a lot of Pac and Biggie back in the day as far as that goes, and I tell you what, I was always more of a fan, in my opinion, of the lyricists. Like the ones that were more thoughtful and had intent behind the lyrics that they were writing. Not just flow, but like. Pac had a lot of the good lyrics in my opinion, and Biggie too. But that's another cool thing that a lot of Hexicans share in common is music. You mentioned yourself and Richie Rich Crypto kind of sharing similarities in music, and even people like Joe Hexotic. He's always in the community, but he's in my intro. He's got a little Naga Bo video that Naga did, and he did a little remix over it. So we got him. We got Corey, an investor that did like a 7-minute song, and Freddie Quotes. I still need to. I have the clip, but I still need to put it on my StreamYard where it's the actual music video of his song that he shared in the conference, the HEX Changes 2021 conference.
Yeah, that's all good stuff. Yeah.
No,
And I would like to, I guess, add probably one album, the Jay-Z Reasonable Doubt.
Okay, yeah.
That put me on a different level. That album right there, there was so many different things going on in real life and relationships. But I've noticed that with a lot of artists, your first album that you put out was all the heart, the blood, sweat, the tears, the 15 or 10 years that you had to get there. And then it seems like the new group of people you have around you, the music changes after a while. And, if you ever have a chance, that Reasonable Doubt's a pretty good one. But then other, like country individuals, Waylon Jennings and all these guys that have been around the neck of woods where I grew up. And even David Allen Cole played at, the bar down the street. These were all the things my parents wanted me to get into. But, I grew up on the bad side of town. I had to wait till I was older to understand those different messages in these songs.
Exactly. Well, I don't want to cut it too short or end it too quickly now, but I usually go until when Hexologist goes, and I just refreshed my my Twitch, and it looks like let me just let me just share the screen real quick for we're all gonna raid Hexologist here. So my bad for not knowing that before, but he's done a little meme thing of the influencers, and he's got Richard Hart and David there too. So I'm gonna host his stream right now, and actually let me just spend 10 more seconds hosting his stream real quick here. We're just gonna raid the channel, do Hexologist start raid, but yeah, thank you for everyone coming in and saying hello again to Nardo. This definitely won't be our last stream that we do, and it's always good to have you on. So let me just stop sharing the screen for just one last second. We also have your contact information in the description for anyone that maybe want to follow Nardo, or if you ever want to get in touch, you can reach out to him via his Twitter. Is that the best place to reach out to you?
Yeah, I'm pretty much just solely on Twitter. You might have to do a little work to actually find me, but yeah.
No worries, it's in the description. So, all right, well, thanks, and yeah, we're gonna go over to Hexologist. So, thanks again, Nardo, and thanks everyone for tuning in.
Appreciate